Crystal Palace fans will have been glued to all the announcements this afternoon, seeing these huge changes for their football club at this critical time in the season as well. So first of all, Roy Hodgson confirming he's stepping down. This club is very special, he said, and means so much to me and has played a big part in my footballing life. I have fully enjoyed my time here across 6 seasons, as it's given me the chance to work with top-class players and staff doing what I love every day. However, I understand, given recent circumstances, it may be prudent at this time for the club to plan ahead. And therefore, I've taken the decision to step aside so that the club can bring forward their plans for a new manager as intended for this summer. This is what Steve Parish has had to say, the Crystal Palace chairman. Roy has a special place in Crystal Palace history, and this will never be forgotten. After 4 years in which he led the club to maintaining Premier League status season after season, he once again joined us nearly a year ago to steady the ship and worked wonders. That he then agreed to continue in the summer speaks volumes about his commitment to our club. Quite simply, we owe our continued Premier League status to Roy. Crystal Palace fans, it's fair to say, were ready for something to happen. The results have not been good for Crystal Palace recently, and then this news last week that Roy Hodgson had taken ill on the training ground. We don't know, Jamie, if that has accelerated what's happened this afternoon, but what would you say about these changes this afternoon?
Well, I think on the back of the result last week, we spoke on this show, and I think I said it'll be an interesting week and see what, the Crystal Palace board and ownership feel about where they want to go and whether they want to change the manager. But in terms of sort of the tribute that we've just seen from Steve Parish to Roy Hodgson, I'd like to give my own, because I think Roy is unique in a number of ways. I think most importantly, and unfortunately, there's not many English managers who are respected, not just in this country, but across the world and across European football. This is a guy who's managed all over the world. And another thing that makes him unique is not just managing in the Premier League at 76 years of age, which is phenomenal. He's coaching at that age. So more often than not, we see a manager who gets into maybe his late 60s, early 70s, there'll be a younger coach doing the job. I know from my own experience at Liverpool and what he's still been doing last season when he came in with that miraculous job to keep Crystal Palace in the Premier League. He's still on that training pitch day in, day out, and that's what makes him unique. And I understand Crystal Palace have to name a new manager now, and I totally understand the position they found themselves in. But I think, the fact that Roy's okay, that is the most important, and it's probably more important than the result tonight for Crystal Palace. So the fact that Roy's given a statement and he looks like he's getting to, back onto his feet, that's a great thing, not just for him, but, the football family.
And I think everybody in football would echo that sentiment for sure. We don't know if this is the end for Roy Hodgson as a football manager, but he's had an extraordinary career to this point. As Jamie says, 76 now, and he's managed 17 different clubs in 48 years. As a coach. That is extraordinary in itself. Some fantastic highlights through there, not forgetting league titles elsewhere in Europe, managing 4 national teams and, of course, a period as England manager as well. How would you, Jesse, sum up this incredible CV of Roy Hodgson's?
Well, I'd say you have to look at it from both perspectives of what he is as a man and what he is as a manager. And I think the respect, as you've spoken about, Jamie, worldwide for what he's achieved, how good his teams have been, and the ways that he's handled himself and carried himself over the years. So, the one that sticks out to me is the 2010 Europa League final. I was an assistant coach for the U.S. getting ready for the World Cup, and I remember watching the match they had against Atletico Madrid, and they were very unlucky that match to lose in extra time. We had Clint Dempsey on the team. I thought he had the team playing really good football, especially toward the end of the year. And that's one of the things is I think to have such a long career, it's not just about success, it's about evolving and understand modern football and continuing to push the teams that you work with. And think about the amount of people you've played for him. Think about the amount of people that played for him, that lives he's touched. So that's what you look at, is just the overall perspective of what he's meant.